everybody, and welcome back to The Good Screen, where we watch things on the screen that is good. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Russell.
And I did the intro this time.
You did.
I did.
Well, we have an exciting episode for you this week.
Yeah!
I guess I'll take over.
Yeah, you can have it back now.
Too much responsibility.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
No.
All right.
But it is my month.
You had to start it. So, yeah, today we have an exciting episode.
Yes.
A delayed episode because we didn't have enough time to watch the subject of this movie.
I didn't know it was 3 hours long until we were about to sit down and watch it last week.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well, let's...
It was 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I said, whoa, it's 8 o'clock is our bedtime. Let's watch it another day. And we didn't have another day to watch it until yesterday, which was a weeknight. And I literally got home from work.
We watched it.
And
we went to bed.
Yeah. So before we get into that, which I'm sure everyone knows what it is by looking at the title. Yeah, the title.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk about, Lauren, what have you been enjoying on the good screen? You were franticking before.
I wasn't franticking. I was just wanting to make sure I had something to say.
Is that a word?
It is now.
Franticking.
Put it in the dictionary.
Dictionary. Why'd you say it like that? Okay, well, you were in a fritz.
Yeah. I was just trying to make sure I had something to say, because I feel like the last, month I've just been sewing videos. Which is, all I really watch. I don't watch a lot of shows and TV.
That'll change, Lauren.
Will it?
I think so.
Okay. I was gonna say, unless, podcasts count.
Well, next week, so there'll be something, right? Starts with the P.
Penis?
No, that's not on a screen. P. The letter P, it starts with the P. Not porn. No, there's porn of it, as we learned.
What? Oh, Pokemon! Oh!
Why? I love how that's how you got it. It starts with a P and it comes out this weekend.
I saw porn.
Porn?
Of the Sprigatito Final Evolution because they all leaked. And the game's not even out yet.
I saw porn of 2 of them. But the one I didn't see porn of is the one I'm gonna choose as my starter. We'll talk about this later, I'm sure.
What?
On the podcast, next week. Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, but all right, what have you been enjoying on the good screen? Sorry I derailed the podcast already.
Well, now you have me looking forward to Friday, because we're recording this on Tuesday night, the 15th, and it comes out this Friday, the 18th. And so I'm going to do nothing but play that all week, I'm sure.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, but anyways, my screenless shout-out this week.
No, not screenless shout-out.
Alright, on my good screen this week. I'm sorry. My brain's all over the place.
Yeah, it is.
My good screen this week, since I didn't want to just say sewing videos and cooking videos and podcasts like normal, which I don't think is bad, but it's I don't want to say the same thing every week, is we watched a couple episodes of Orville this week, starring Seth MacFarlane.
MacFarlane?
Yeah, who, right before we started recording, Russell enlightened me he voices more than just Brian. He also does Stewie and Peter, so I hate him even more. Because whenever he talks, all I can fucking think of is Brian.
Well, now I can think of 2 more characters from Family Guy.
And it makes me upset because I really liked Orville.
It's an interesting show.
It's a very interesting show. I didn't like the last episode we just watched where
controversial ending.
The baby hatches. I really didn't like that.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to
the next one's
more
cool.
of it. Is it?
Yeah.
We'll have to watch it.
Yeah. Pretty awesome.
Yeah. What did you watch on the good screen this week?
I watched Sonic.
Sonic!
As in the new game, Sonic Frontiers.
Gotta go fast!
I'm loving it. When the reviews started coming out, it was had like a 70% across the board, and I was like, that's basically a 10 for a Sonic fan.
Yeah.
And I was so happy. And then I played the game, And it's pretty fun.
I really enjoy watching you play it.
Yeah, it's like a little playground.
I don't enjoy watching you play many games. Like Astro's Playworld, I had
fun.
a lot of fun watching that.
Playroom? I platinumed that
Whatever
game.
it is. Did you?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, some things I just don't enjoy watching you
Cold
play.
Steel? That can be entertaining if you read along.
If we do funny voices, it's fun.
Oh, that could be. Like Peter Griffin reading.
Yeah.
Friggin' sweet, Elisa.
Oh my god. Maybe Iced Tea. No, maybe not Peter
maybe
Griffin.
Not. Yeah,
no.
But yeah, you enjoy watching me play it?
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
You enjoy watching.
Wow. Yeah, I enjoy watching.
Watching Sonic.
Sonic!
Yeah.
And I listen to what Sonic says, always.
Always listen to what Sonic says.
Yeah.
So it's been fun. I like it. It's kind of weird that like the story is kind of serious because Sonic's been really jokey.
Yeah.
In the last few years, but I guess Sonic Forces was also kind of a serious game because Sonic fucking dies in the beginning of that game. But nobody likes that. Yeah, it comes back. Nobody likes that game though. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't hear good things about that one.
But no, this is really fun. It's a breath of fresh air.
Was Sonic Forces the one where you make your OC?
Yeah, that's the one where
you
make
that's
your
fucking
OC.
awesome.
And people thought that was going to be like a huge one, but it turned out it was really short and the levels were janky.
You know what would have made this Sonic Forces, is that what it's called?
The bad one?
The new one?
The new one's Sonic Frontiers.
Sonic Frontiers. You know what would have made Sonic Frontiers a 20 out of 50 for me? Or a 20 out of like... No, that was the wrong proportion. Like a 20 out of 10 for me.
What?
It at the Chow Garden.
Yeah.
I want to see the Chows.
There was an interview of like someone asking what the most requested feature in a Sonic game was to the director.
Yeah.
And the director said, the Chow Garden. And then the interviewer said, is there a Chow Garden in Sonic Frontiers? And he goes, no, there's not.
What a fucking ass. I would love if they just... I touched the cord. I would love if they just made a Chow Garden game.
I think...
Like Animal Crossing or even Stardew, but it's just Chows.
I think the next Sonic game will have one.
I will piss my pants if it doesn't. I don't even play these games and I really want it.
Yeah, but no, Sonic Forces, Sonic Frontiers, now you're making me say the wrong one. Sonic Frontiers is really fun. I've been enjoying that. I played a little bit of Skyrim.
You played a lot of it of Skyrim recently.
I played about an hour or so.
Yeah, well, it was its birthday.
It was its birthday, but I played around its birthday, which is strange. But
yeah.
I still have my friend Will's PS5.
Yeah?
Our friend Will's PS5. Will Party. Not really playing that. Sonic came out at a bad time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, bad time for that. A good time for me.
Yeah, I guess so.
So,
Unless you had gotten it on PlayStation.
And then I was watching The Orville too.
Yeah, we watched it together.
So hopefully, next week we'll have a lot more to say together.
Hopefully.
Probably. Well, maybe. We'll see.
Sorry, everyone. It's 5:30 and the sun's gone down.
Yeah,
I'm extremely tired.
Daylight savings is officially over. We're no longer saving the daylight here in the United States of America.
No.
And now time is back to what it normally would be.
This is what it normally is?
This is what because we're not saving daylight anymore. Daylight savings ended. So this is how it would normally be in a normal country or state.
I don't like that.
Actually, no.
I want it to be bright
States want it to be like Arizona. They don't observe it.
Yeah.
But they don't end daylight savings time, so they're like an hour behind.
Yeah.
More so than they would have been. It's so confusing, and I hope this is the last time I had to deal with this bullshit.
I want it to be light in the evening.
Well, it will be if they pass that thing. They're gonna before spring and spring rolls around. They're just gonna leave it as is.
God. Well, I also heard that if it doesn't happen very soon, then it'll be the next year when it kicks in.
Yeah.
Which I guess just one last year. I don't know. Better than the rest of our lives.
Tax dollars hard at work. So we had a very long movie that we talked about.
A very good movie
that we watched this week, and we're gonna go ahead and do a cut here probably, but yeah, let's go ahead and start talking about The Godfather.
The Godfather.
Okay, Lauren, so we watched The Godfather Part 1 by Francis Ford Coppola. Lauren, what did you know about this movie before you started watching it?
I knew this is where a lot of, like, the mobbish stereotypes come from.
This movie?
Like, yeah, this and, like, maybe some, like, older mob movies, but mostly this one. Like, literally the scene in the beginning that I was quoting and making fun of, that was, like, before we started watching. It happened. The only thing I was missing was the cat in his lap, because I knew that was a mob thing, but I didn't know it was in this, too. He's like, you come to me on the day of my... it was so much better. Yes, my voice was so much better yesterday. But I did it too much, and now my voice is fucking fucked.
Yeah, okay, well...
But basically, it was like, you come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding.
You just sound like fucking
now I sound
New
really
Jersey
bad.
woman.
I promise it was so much better yesterday before I did it for like half an hour straight, and I ruined it.
So you didn't know anything else? You didn't know what happened in the movie?
Well, I realized afterwards that I had seen that scene with Apollina before, but I didn't know it was in this.
With the car exploding?
With the car exploding.
Oh, sorry, spoilers, everyone. The car explodes with her in
it. This is a spoiler-full podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I didn't even know Al Pacino was in it. Like, I knew he was in these movies, but I didn't know he was, like, the biggest role in it.
Yeah.
As Michael.
Yeah.
And I knew it's regarded as a very, very good movie.
One of the best.
Which I believe it. And now I really want to watch the second one.
Yeah.
And also The Sopranos.
The Sopranos?
I want to start watching The Sopranos.
Okay, The Sopranos is a little bit different.
Even though I know.
A little bit different.
I know it's different, and I also know how it ends.
Yeah, alright, so,
Hold on, let me read the IMDb before we get much farther.
Let's do the IMDb of this classic movie.
The aging patriarch of an organized crime dynasty and post-war New York City transfers control of his clandestine empire to his reluctant youngest son. Which I don't think is very true. I don't think that's a true statement.
Go on.
Like, keep explaining.
Keep reading.
No, that was it.
Oh, that's it?
That was it, just that sentence. But I don't think that's a very true statement. I mean, he does transfer control, but his son... He wasn't reluctant. He stepped up to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that he wanted to do it. It's kind of like how you're not the dad... You're the dad that stepped up. He's the son that stepped up.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, alright, so I want to go over a few things that I observed from this movie.
Oh, so have you seen this movie before, by the way?
I never have.
What did you expect of it?
I expected it to be good, but also an old movie. Sometimes old movies aren't good anymore, but this was not the case.
No, this holds up extremely well.
This was an interesting movie. I was a little lost here and there, but...
Yeah, I feel like this definitely would need a rewatch or two.
Yeah.
Because there were some names that I didn't realize until the end.
Yeah, I didn't realize things were going on.
Oh, and also...
Will has...
I was going to say, when we get to a certain point, Will has questions for us
That's right. Well, when we're done talking about this.
Yeah.
Alright, so I knew a few things about this movie, though. I saw some scenes on the internet and stuff like that. I want to point out, though... that everything I knew or heard that was in this movie, like things that people quote all the time.
Like, how can they massacred my boy?
No, not, well, yeah, that part, but that part was later on.
Yeah.
Most of what I knew from this movie and what was, quote unquote, iconic, was in like the first 20 minutes of the movie. So I was very excited to watch the rest of the movie because I had no clue what was going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, the parts that I knew... Like how I said, I saw the Apollina scene, but it was very out of context. Like, I don't remember the context of me seeing it even, or if it was a meme or something.
Yeah.
And like a meme here and there. But that was about it.
Yeah. So, yeah, overall it was very good. We will definitely say that. We really enjoyed it, and we think that even though it's old, everyone should go watch this movie. Take some time.
Really, take an afternoon.
Although, I will say, it is kind of split up that you could, like, watch half of it and then watch the other half.
Yeah.
Or even a third of it.
There are very clear acts.
Very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, it starts, and then the whole conflict with Don Corleone or whatever. Corleone.
I don't think there's an Oni at the end. I think it's just Corleone.
Corleone.
Yeah. So, yeah, because there's the beginning part.
He gets shot.
Yeah, there's that whole part at the beginning.
And then Michael goes away.
And then Michael has to go away. Well, before that, it's the part where he steps up. That was, like, a very
But I think that's, like, in the beginning part of the movie.
Yeah, that is, like, probably the first third. And then he goes away.
That part.
And all that happens, and all the stuff that's happening back in New York happens.
Yep.
And, like, when Sonny dies.
Was that while he's away?
Yeah, that happened while he was away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, remember, because they pulled him to the side. It was right before the Apollina scene.
To tell him he's not safe.
Yeah, they were like, you're not safe here anymore. They got your brother, and they know where the fuck you are. Yeah. And that whole thing was very sad, which I have, like, a lot of comments about the whole him and Sicily. And then he comes back, and it's everything that happens when he comes back, and he becomes... And the middle part almost lasts up until the part where Dawn dies. Yeah. And then it's the part where Michael is officially the Godfather.
Sure.
Yeah, because they kiss his hand and stuff at the end.
I think when Michael comes back is like the ending part of the movie.
Yeah, it's like the
because that's when things are resolved, so to say.
We'll find out in part 2.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch it at least.
And then things really aren't resolved during the baptism, and then the movie.
No,
ends.
that was probably like the best part. At the end. Yeah.
So. Yeah, so I had written down that...
I have a lot of things written down.
So I'm just going to go down my list.
Okay.
We thought we would hear so much Italian stuff in this movie.
Within the first 5 minutes, they even say gabagool.
Yeah. Do you know what gabagool is?
I was going to say no. Should we make it?
We really can't.
Can't?
No, we don't have the tools to make it. You know what gabagool really is?
No.
Capricola.
What's capricola?
Say capricola really fast.
Capricola.
No, maybe a little less racist.
Capricola.
Gabagool.
Capricola.
That's what it is. Gabagool. Capricola.
That sounds nothing like.
I know, but that's the slang for it.
Okay, but what's capricola?
It's meat. It's like deli meat.
Oh, it's just meat?
Yeah, it's deli meat. Like they
put
it on.
I thought
it's a cold cut.
was like. I thought it was like...
A soup?
I don't even know.
A calzone?
I was picturing kind of like a stuffed noodle situation.
It's fucking deli meat.
It's just meat.
It's cold cuts.
We should go to a deli.
Yeah, so...
Although I'm sure all they have is Lebanon bologna. Let's see if they have gabagool.
The first thing I wrote down... the first thing I wrote down is gabagool count, and then he only said it twice. So we were expecting a lot of... You wrote down a ravioli count, right?
I did cannoli. They said cannoli twice.
Yeah, so they didn't overdo it.
Yeah.
Although, can you really overdo it if you're like the cornerstone of all this stereotyping?
Literally. The first thing I wrote down was, cat actor 10 out of 10, where is his EGOT? And then on the day of my daughter's wedding, because I was like, oh my god, they said it.
The second thing I wrote down was, it's not a really question. I said,
it's not a really question?
It's not really a question. Shut up. I said, I wish I was from a big Italian family.
Yes.
And then at the end, I wrote, I'm kind of glad I'm not from a big Italian family.
I just wish I was from a bigger family in general.
I thought your family was pretty big. You just don't...
Okay, so...
This goes into my next thing.
Long story short, I'm not going to get into my family politics, but basically, my brother and I were very isolated from the rest of our family. My family is very big, but we were isolated so, like, my parents moved us, like, 2,000 miles away from our family, didn't let us talk to any of our family.
But you do have a big family.
I have a relatively big family, but not like the Italian sense where you have a bunch of brothers and sisters and a bunch of cousins.
Oh, yeah, they're all older.
All my cousins are, like, at least, I only have one, I have 2 first cousins on my dad's side, who I was never allowed to engage with.
Maybe they're from the mob.
I don't think that they live in the middle of Michigan.
So?
I don't think they're in the mob.
Michigan,
and then
Detroit.
the only other cousin I have is my second cousin Claire,
Yeah.
who I like
She's
vaguely
older,
know.
too.
She's like your age.
Yeah.
She's a year younger than you.
Okay.
Yeah, anyways, I wish I was in a big family. That's all.
I wish my family was Italian and didn't just think they were. My family is Pennsylvania Dutch, so they think they're Italian.
They're really not.
And
they're so far from it.
And you get the food, you get the Italian food, the Italian American food, but it's not really, no, it's not, something's up there. Not right.
No.
So they think they're cooks. And most of the time they are cooks.
Food is good.
Yeah,
your Nana's food is a little out there.
They're eccentric, but you don't get that homegrown, this is our family tradition food. You get...
Yeah, like all the tomato plants and basil and stuff they had in their yard.
Yeah, and going on to the food, there was so much sitting
food.
Down and eating dinner with your family.
Yeah, with the family.
There was so many like boys with the boys vibes. I think I wrote down something like, let me see. I wrote a lot of notes this time.
I wrote tons of notes.
A lot of guys being dudes vibes loved when they were eating Chinese the most. Yeah. That part was amazing.
Nothing has changed.
Because, it was like, what, 1950-ish probably?
Yeah, it was like
50s,
I think it was
60s?
At the beginning, I think it was supposed to be like 46.
Like right after the war?
He had just gotten back from the war. I think it was supposed to be like 46 tops.
Michael got back from the war?
Michael fought in the war.
He was wearing the thing.
Yeah. He I'm
war
assuming
hero.
Was drafted.
He said he was a war hero.
So was anyone who fought in that war and came home.
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was so much, and like every shot of the dudes just sitting at the table, and one of them's leaning on the wall, and one of them's sitting on a chair next to the table,
and they're like all smoking cigarettes and eating their food,
they're smoking cigars and stuff. Every one of those shots, you could take a screenshot. I mean, one thing I realized about this movie is that it was in perfect 1080p. It wasn't letterboxed.
Oh, we also got the UHD version. It may have something to do with that. Do you think
it was cropped? If that's the case, I had to watch this movie again because it might have been cropped.
I don't know if it was cropped. It may have been like a remaster type thing.
All right. Well, either way, you could take any one of these, take a screenshot on your computer, especially this version.
Yeah.
Set it as your wallpaper, and you got vibes for the next.
That's the vibes
for the next 3 years of your life.
Yeah.
Your boys come over. What's your wallpaper? That's just a scene from The Godfather where they're all eating Chinese food.
Yeah.
Wow, that's vibes.
It's vibes.
That's big vibes.
Such
So
a vibe.
I loved that part. Like most of the time, I was just fixated on like what they were doing during those parts, and that's probably why I wasn't paying attention to what they were planning.
Yeah. Well, it just was so interesting to see what they were doing.
Yeah.
Because they were living like normal lives. I feel like this is like the best movie I've seen that takes place in like the 1950s.
Yeah, it kind of
just shows what life was like.
Yeah.
Instead of some sort of like actual glamorized version, you know?
Yeah, like there was a lot of
Sorry.
There was a lot of mob activity back then, and through especially during the war.
Yeah, and I know
Prohibition and stuff, but Prohibition was I think reversed before the war ended. I don't know. I'm not a historian, but yeah, it's crazy to see like the after effects of that and how they were worried about what they were going to do about these newfangled drugs.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that part was so funny. I literally wrote down Cartonics, narcotics is the thing of the future.
Yeah.
LOL, they predicted / started the war on drugs.
They started the war on drugs. And they were worried about like ethnic minorities of the time, like getting hold of the drugs and
kids.
Yeah, and kids.
They were like, we're not allowed to sell by schools. We only sell to like people like.
They were like super honorable about it.
Yeah.
Like, but they were also kind of racist about it.
They were extremely racist.
They were very racist. They said some bad words.
Lots of bad words.
I learned a few new slurs. Yeah, I wrote that down. I learned some new slurs.
I need to look up to see which ones of these are actually slurs.
Yeah, they really wanted control of the heroin market.
Yeah.
You ever hear this thing called heroin?
No, Don Campanelli didn't like the heroin.
He didn't like it. Yeah,
that's like half the reason why the whole thing started was because he didn't want to sell drugs, and every other family was like, "No, we're gonna get it on drugs, and you're gonna get left behind."
So Oh, speaking of drugs,
Yeah.
the Don in the beginning of the movie, the Don was at a market and he goes, "I want to look at some fruit," and he picks up a green pepper.
Okay, now we need to look this up.
And then he gets shot. Lauren's like, "Oh yeah, a green pepper is technically a fruit. The seeds are inside."
I'm gonna look this up right
but,
now.
like, green pepper to me, that's a vegetable.
It's
Like, that is
green
100% a vegetable. Picks up a
pepper
green pepper, goes, "Oh, this is a lovely fruit."
fruit.
Is it a fruit? Google that. Google that shit right now.
Peppers are fruit.
Peppers are a fruit?
Peppers are fruit.
Yeah, the botanical classification. What about the botanical? The boys. What am I
With
going to
this
tell the
definition
boys?
in mind, peppers are classified as fruit because they contain tiny seeds in the middle and grow from the flower of the pepper plant.
The pepper plant?
The pepper plant!
Your mom grows seeds from the middle. What?
I was one of those seeds.
You were?
Yeah.
Are you a fruit?
A little bit.
Whoa, aren't we all?
Shut the fuck up.
All right, well, anyway, so speaking of family, I wrote down a quote that really stuck with me in the beginning of this movie. And every time you tell me that you don't want to go to my mom's or something,
Oh, God.
not that you tell me that, or that I spend too much time with my family.
Well, I never said the family part.
I don't spend too much time with my
I
family.
don't tell you I don't want to go to your mom's, but it is always insinuated.
I wrote down a quote: "A man that doesn't spend time with his family isn't a real man." That's what the Don said in the beginning.
I am no
I don't know
man.
why I wrote that down. Yeah,
I am no man.
I spend plenty of time with my family. I don't know why I said that. If my mom was listening,
I did have the thought at the beginning that I was like, imagine the being a fucking mob family and how horribly they would be.
What? They're fine. They're
Well, I mean,
What?
like, organized crime. Also, you may want to, I said the last name, you may want to blurt that out.
great. I didn't really want to edit this one too much.
Well, that's
but-
too damn bad. I was like, imagine your family
Imagine your family
trying to
last
run a
name.
mob family.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy.
I think it'd be hilarious.
Imagine your family.
You know
I
what?
think your family would.
My granddad, I think he'd be pretty good
He'd
at it.
you'd hang some people over the rooftop by their ankles.
Yeah.
What do you know about my golf clubs?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Literally, they'd fight over golf turf.
Yeah. So yeah. Another thing I wrote down, another memorable quote from this movie was, "It's not personal, it's just business."
They said that a lot,
Yeah.
which I think was kind of just like supposed to be a running joke.
Yeah.
Because all of it is personal, but it's also all business.
Yeah, very true. And then right after that, like, something else came up and I didn't have time to write it down. So I just said every line in this movie is the line.
Every line is so good.
Not the writer's room line, because one guy wrote this whole movie. Because it's based off a book. But
Yeah, I'd
but
love
yeah.
to read the book.
So I also want to point out that 2 times in this movie, the excuse to go pee-pee was used to murder a man.
Yeah.
The first in the beginning part where the guy is driving down the road and he goes, "I had to take a leak," and then the guy in the back seat kills the guy in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
And then later on, Michael...
Which you don't expect. You think they're going to shoot the guy that went out to pee or something.
Yeah, and then Michael had to go pee to get the gun in the restaurant to kill those 2 dudes.
That whole sequence, it
That was
like,
interesting.
that was so interesting.
Yeah, that was the Darth Vader.
That was the Anakin moment.
That was the Anakin killing the younglings moment. Yeah,
that was him stepping up and being
First cop to ever die, I wrote right after that. First cop to ever die.
Well, they said the one guy, he was like, yeah, this thing has to happen every 5 or 10 years, like a little refresher.
Like, this is
I was like,
pretty
wow,
messed
back
up.
when people respected police.
Wow, yeah. And then I wrote down after that, we should have counted. They must have eaten dinner right after that. I said
We should have counted how many times
they
they
ate dinner.
We'll have to do that for the second one.
Yeah. I don't have any questions. I just have, like, observations written down.
A lot of mine are observations too. Like, I wrote down, like, oh, well, they remembered the cannoli. Because I remember his wife was like, don't forget the cannoli. And he got the cannoli.
You got the cannoli?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Well, the one thing I did have a question about was the gun that Michael used to kill the cop and the other guy. I don't remember what it was. Well, no. What was the tape for? Was it for
maybe
fingerprints?
It was for fingerprints, yeah.
Because he was like, this gun is untraceable. I was like... Because he put the tape on it, and I was like, did ballistics exist yet? Did ballistic studies exist yet? Because they can prove whether or not bullets came from guns.
Yeah, but, like, I don't know if we were quite there yet.
I don't think we were. It was like 1947.
But I think the tape might have, like, made it hard to look at the fingerprints.
Yeah, and dropping the gun right away, which I guess is more of just so that you don't get caught with the gun.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like just a waste of a gun.
They could tell where that the bullets came out of that type of gun, probably, but they probably couldn't tell like where the gun was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a forensic person. But yeah, so
and then well, I have a lot of things. I mostly want to just talk about Apollina stuff.
Okay, when he went to
Sicily to run away and to hide for a little bit. I'm assuming the flight took like 2 days, maybe.
The flight?
He had to fly there. He had the black eye like the whole fucking time.
Yeah, you were a little fixated on that.
Yeah,
you do bruise after a bit bad enough black eye. You know that, right?
And also at one point they talked about how the doctor really fixed his face. So I'm assuming he must have had some sort of surgery too.
He did
before he went back.
Before or after?
Or right after he went
back. Yeah, I don't think they had that kind of surgery there. Maybe they did. I don't
know. But it's like he was there for a week and he got. Oh no! Now you're yawning. It's like he was there for a week and he found a wife.
That's just how things were. Arranged
so
marriages.
Weird. I mean, yeah, I guess it was sort of arranged, but like, what was his plan with that? Because he had, what was her name? Kate?
Yeah,
Kate,
something like that.
Back at home. Like, he just left her there to dry, basically. And
left her there
found
to dry.
This wife in Sicily.
Yeah.
Like, was he just gonna bring her back?
I think
and
more
pretend
time,
like everything was okay?
I think more time went by while he was there than you think.
Probably.
Yeah, because this is adapted from a book.
Yeah.
And the book probably explains it way better. Like, maybe he was in Sicily for like 5 years.
Maybe, yeah.
Or maybe not that long because he didn't have a kid.
Because when they got back, all of his sister's kids were magically older.
Yeah. True.
So...
Did you notice the fashion change when he got back?
I don't know too much about 1950s fashion.
Oh, okay. Well,
I
thought you were gonna pick up on that.
No, I did really like. Sorry, I was turning my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Oh. I couldn't hear it.
It buzzed. I did enjoy
like a little bee.
The fashions. This was filmed in what year?
Filmed in what year?
What year
I
did
don't
this movie
know.
come out?
I have no clue.
70s, 80s?
Probably the 60s.
No.
It didn't come out in the 60s? You sure?
Okay. I think
you might have to look this up. I don't know.
I think it came out in like 79.
79? No way, Lauren. There's no way. This movie does not look like it came out anywhere after 1965.
1972.
72?
1972.
Okay. Yeah. Early 70s. Okay.
Okay. But so they probably did use a lot of like actual vintage clothing because it was still around.
It wasn't that far off. Yeah, it was like looking grandma's closet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's probably really cool.
So I wrote down another thing when he went to Sicily to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And you might need to get your phone out again for this one.
Okay.
We didn't know where he was going, and Lauren said these are like the Alps. And then it was discovered that he was in Sicily.
The Alps are not in Sicily. Sicily's an island,
but
the
Alps are not in Sicily.
The Alps are at the top of Italy.
They are?
Yeah.
I thought they were in like.
They go.
They go?
Yeah.
I guess the Alps are pretty big.
Mountain.
Where
the Alps, a mountain range
in Italy.
In Europe.
In Europe.
Yeah.
Europe's pretty big, Lauren.
Okay,
sorry, we just became a geography podcast.
See, the Alps are all the way there at the top.
Oh yeah, they are.
See, I was right.
What? Okay, I don't know Europe very well.
I don't either. We're just silly little Americans.
Little Americans.
Sicily.
The boot.
The boot.
Yep, the boot. So.
Yeah, like goes there up into Austria and stuff because that's the way that a lot of people escaped Italy during World War II.
True.
Was through the Alps to get into safer countries. Because remember, even in The Sound of Music, they go through the Alps, but they're in like Austria or Switzerland or somewhere like that.
We probably got that all wrong.
I think they were in Austria and they
Yeah?
went to Switzerland.
Yeah, Switzerland was neutral.
Yes, I think that's
Yeah.
what happened. They crossed the Alps to get to Switzerland.
Did you know Switzerland had like rigged bombs in all their tunnels that went through the mountains because that's the only way you could get into Switzerland?
Oh, so that if Nazis
anyone
went through?
invaded, they would just literally block off their whole country from
Did you look at the news today?
What? Oh, with Poland?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was an accident, but they could anyway.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, they could still pull Article 5, so.
Article 5?
Yeah, we'll look that up later. But
Okay.
anyway, yeah, so crazy stuff. So back to The Godfather. So, yeah, so
I loved the way that Sonny just wanted to beat the shit out of. I don't remember the husband's name. It was like Chris or something like that.
Chris.
Something. It was something like that.
Chris.
Because the sister's name was like Candace.
I don't remember.
Something. They're the ones that got married at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think back to the wedding because someone went upstairs and fucked someone. I was trying to remember if it was.
I think it was one of the brothers.
I think you're right. I think it was Sonny.
Yeah.
But because like there was another part where he was coming down the stairs. I don't remember if it was Sonny or if it was him. I kept getting them confused, honestly.
Yeah, they looked very similar.
And he was fucking another girl, and I was like, "That's not your wife." So I don't remember if that was Sonny or him. But either way,
he got slapped. He should have got murked.
I wish Sonny could have gone and fucking killed him.
And then it turns out he was like behind a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
He was working against them.
Yeah.
He needed to die at the end.
Yeah.
He had to go.
Yeah, I'm very glad they did that.
So I wrote down another thing. I don't know why I wrote this down. But I wrote down every time Don is drinking, half the quotes that Don Corleone said in this movie could be turned into like Facebook mom inspirational quotes. If you really think about it.
What? Give me one.
I don't know. It was just like when he was talking about wine, and that's when this thought came up in my head.
Oh, and he was like, "I'm drinking more these days," or whatever, and then Michael was like, "It's good for you."
Yeah, or something like
Which
that.
Which is probably just like an Italian
and
way.
Like, if you look back at this movie, if you watch this movie again and like listen to everything he says, I just see like a minion, and then like what he said. I'll have to make one and show you. But yeah, so and I'm not gonna do it tonight because I gotta get this out. I really gotta get this. I gotta listen to the whole thing because he said my family's last name. So.
You just have to go to the one part.
Yeah, I did.
It was like 20 minutes in.
Sure. All right. So yeah, I very much enjoyed this movie.
I did too.
I think we've covered all. I covered all my bases. I don't know if you covered all yours.
I pretty much did.
Okay.
The only other thing that I kind of questioned was. So I know they like to keep things Sicilian and like Italian in general.
Right.
So I was wondering like, because I know that like he's like the Godfather now basically, and even before he was like the Godfather's son, so he could kind of do whatever he wanted. But like, why was he like allowed, I guess, to like marry someone who isn't like Italian or Sicilian? Like, I'm kind of wondering if that's the reason why he wanted to marry Apollina, was to try and do that.
To show his dad that he was keeping things in Sicily. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Well, it makes me want to kind of go and find out more about what happened in the book with all that, because if you took that whole Apollina thing out, it wouldn't have affected anything else. So I'm trying to figure out what kind of, like, character development that would have, like,
I don't know.
Like, moved along for Michael, other than maybe, like, just...
making him feel even more at odds with the other mob people. Because before he was like, I don't want to do any of this. I don't want to shoot this man. And then he goes away and he's like, I'm safe.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like most of the movie, he was kind of a G about everything.
Does it just like harden him, do you think?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, very, very peculiar.
Yeah. And even at the end, when... like, right before Don died, when they were having, like, that last conversation, I guess, where he was like, Sonny I think could have done it, but wouldn't have been a good job. And your older brother, the one that we saw in Vegas for like 2 seconds, he never was even in the running. And he basically said something like, I never expected you to step up to do this.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I'm just being a good son.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then he fucking died chasing around his little son, grandson.
Michael's son,
yeah.
Yeah, which I don't remember his name.
I don't either.
Doesn't matter.
But that's okay. Yeah, so very, very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting ending of the movie.
Yeah, I do have one thing to say.
What?
Al Pacino, kind of really sexy in this movie.
He looks just like Davey 504.
He does kind of look like a short Davey 504.
Yeah.
But like, I only knew him as old. I never seen anything of his when he was young because he's Dunkachino, you know?
Yeah.
But like,
he was in Taxi Driver too, I think.
I never saw that.
I think that was him, yeah.
But yeah,
Could be wrong.
He was a real catch in this movie.
Yeah.
I thought he was very handsome.
He was
a heartthrob. I guess, maybe.
Maybe he was.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's go ahead and let's look at what Will asked us, because
Will's
we have
questions.
some questions about this movie. For the first time ever, someone asked us a question about the movie we're watching.
While I'm looking at this, did we get any comments?
We did not. We got a solicitation email to join another podcast network.
Oh.
But
thanks.
I said nothing. I said nothing to the guy, but if he wants to listen to our podcast, he can go ahead. But I'm not joining another platform for streaming our podcast.
Yeah.
Podvine tried to get us once too.
Who's Podvine?
Exactly.
The only one I know
They're
of
just a
is
podcast app. Is that sure?
No. I'm thinking of like a small podcast network, not an app.
Oh no. These are like apps. They want us to be hosted on their platform.
No, I'm not going on any.
Yeah, I don't care. I think we're on all the apps we need.
Yeah.
The Monopoly apps.
Okay. So Will asked us 2 questions, and I'm gonna ask them out of order.
Okay.
So his second question was, what do you think changed in Michael that made him want to be involved with the family business?
I think when he got slapped by the cop.
Yeah,
I think that was his Joker moment. Yeah. That was his, because he was trying to help his dad. That's all he wanted to do.
Yeah, and this whole time they were telling him, like, it's fine, you're safe. They know you're civilian, basically, because you're not involved in any of this.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's very much insinuated that all of Michael's life he never really wanted to be involved with any of this stuff. Right. And, like, I know there was, like, a draft and stuff for the war, so he didn't really have a choice there, but, like, he probably appreciated having time away.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes back. I don't know. He comes back and he has this girlfriend all of a sudden, and he's trying to explain things to his girlfriend, and he's like, kind of like, this is just my family.
This is my crazy family.
Yeah, it's just my crazy family, but like, it's not me.
Yeah.
So don't mind them. But then like he gets more involved with the family. I think it's also mostly just his father's health failing. Yeah. He's like, oh shit. Like, one, someone's gonna have to fucking do this, and no one else is really capable, I guess. And 2, like, I think it was like a snap back to reality moment for him. Like, I think his head got out of the clouds.
Yeah, I think it was really when that cop slapped him.
I feel like that definitely played a big part too.
Yeah, what else did he say?
His other question was, did you notice how Vito, which is Don, knew that Lesio was going to betray the family? And I will pull up a picture of Lesio for you so you know which one he is.
I think I know who you're talking about. But yeah, we kind of talked about that after the movie ended. You were like, yeah, he said he was going to betray the family, but he betrayed like every family.
Yeah.
Or so I thought.
I know, I don't want the Godfather, I want Lesio. Or Tessio.
Tessio?
Tessio.
Yeah.
He wrote it in wrong. It was Tessio.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who I was imagining.
Yeah, so we kind of figured it out because there was the one part where Don just kind of like offhandedly, like the last conversation he has with his son, he's like, by the way, whoever invites you over to be on like safe ground, they're the one that's going to betray you, so just be prepared for that. And Michael was kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. But then it happens.
Yeah, it does.
And he's like, well, we're going to fucking get him. And then the baptism stuff happened. I think that was like my favorite part of the movie. Because they told him to do it after the baptism. And so then they'd meet up after the baptism, but then really, like, the Corleones, like, went and just got everyone while the baptism was happening.
Yeah.
And it was such a cool, like, scene snapping back and forth between, like, Michael, like, taking vows before God about how he loves Jesus and God and will do no sin and no harm.
Became a Godfather, literally.
Became a literal God. Like, yeah, like, that was a really big, like, double-edged meaning moment, I feel like. Because, like, while he was doing that, it was cutting back and forth to, like, the other Corleones, like, murking people, and it was so fucking cool.
Was that the other Corleones?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around. I thought they were, like, going after everybody.
No.
Oh.
It was the Corleones, like, getting, like, everyone
I was so fixated on the meeting.
Well, no, it was the Corleones, like, getting everyone who had wronged them, because remember, Michael was like, well, now we've cut all our losses, so we can just move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was taking care of business and working overtime.
He was.
Yeah. He
all
lived,
right.
laughed, loved.
Well, I think we'll wrap it up here.
This one wasn't very long. Content-wise, we still have to do screenless shout out.
Still have to do our ending part.
But, very dense.
Very dense.
I feel like I have a lot more to say, but I want to watch it a second time.
Yeah.
And do, like, a deeper dive, and also watch the second one for sure.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and Will said the second one is
somehow better.
A little bit better than the first, and the third one we can skip. But depending on how I feel about the second one, I may watch the third one anyways, just to see.
I know the third one has a scene that was parodied in Naked Gun.
Oh god, that means it can't be very fucking good.
So there's that.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and swap over to our next segment, Lauren. Screenless shoutouts.
Screenless shoutouts.
Lauren, what is your screenless shoutout this week?
My screenless shoutout is Celebration.
Celebration? George.
We celebrated your birthday on Saturday.
That was my birthday. Yeah, my birthday was on Saturday.
Yeah.
It was also featured guest Tiny Hats from Isha Gaming and Tiny Hats Disky Disc podcast.
Yeah, you guys share the same birthday.
We had the same birthday, yeah.
Were you born in the same year?
No, she's older than me.
Okay.
Yeah. By a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went to the local round one.
Yeah, we went to the arcade.
With a group of friends.
Yeah, it was very fun.
We had lots of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
We had a son.
We did have a son.
We adopted a son at round
I'll probably
one.
post the picture for this part.
We got like a huge
giant
Kiritori from Rilakkuma.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
And we have enough points to get another one.
We do.
If we really want to.
We really do.
Yeah, and I broke a machine trying to rack up points because I was doing too good.
We probably stopped it like as a security measure.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably just like, I think it auto-stopped. I think you're right.
But that's nice. I was going to say my shout out was my friends coming to my birthday.
Yeah.
Those who did. Some of my friends were sick.
Yeah, some friends were sick. Some people worked.
Deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was very nice. Mm-hmm. So, or they were in Mexico.
Yeah, or they were in Mexico.
Or elsewhere.
Officiating a wedding. Or elsewhere.
Yeah, or elsewhere. Anyway, my screenless shout out is something I've noticed I've been doing recently.
Farting.
No.
Shitting.
Different than no.
Pissing.
No, that's not anything new. I've noticed that I got this Apple Watch, which it has a screen on it.
Yes, as Apple Watches do. I don't think there's one that doesn't.
But I hooked up my my wallet to it.
Yeah.
And every time I click it to like do my my Apple Pay through my card, I go hoocha. And my screenless shout out is saying action words when you do something cool.
Wow.
Like when I say hoocha. When I put my wrist
say
up.
Ka-chow.
Hoocha. Like that. I don't know if you noticed me saying it around the house when I close doors and stuff, but
no.
It really gives life to anything you do. Just saying hoocha.
When I drive shopping carts, when I turn the corner, I'll go like skirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Fun?
Yeah.
Like, maybe just like saying action words.
Yeah. Saying action words and onomatopoeias is fun.
Bing.
Bing chilling.
Bing chilling, yeah. But yeah, so my Screenless shout out is making life more interesting by saying silly words.
Yeah.
Yep. That's all. That's all I got.
That's okay. That's a really good
And
one.
my birthday party was very fun.
Yay, I'm glad you had a good time.
We had a perfect amount of people too. We went bowling. That's screenless shout out. I got a strike.
You did get a strike. I would have won if we were playing by golf rules.
Yep. I thought I was going to do the worst, but it turned out I did better
Turns
than
out I
two
did the
people.
worst.
I did better than you and Mike.
Yeah, you were right in the middle.
Yeah, so
we also went with like a hobbyist bowler.
Hobbyist bowler.
Yeah. If Justin had come too,
then we would have been with like a
oh my
pro
god,
bowler,
we would have been with 2 pro bowlers, and it would have been actually no fun.
Yeah,
because by the time we got to bowling, I was super tired.
I was second winding, and then I got tired. We were up until like 11:30.
Yeah, we didn't get home till like 11:30.
Yeah, it was a crazy night. We had a lot of fun though. I'm so glad everyone came out. Perfect amount of people.
Yeah,
we would have to split into 2 groups if everyone else came.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, but we would be probably on the same couches in the bowling area.
Yeah.
I've realized that I really enjoy going to that arcade, and yeah, I do.
I want to do karaoke there one day. They have karaoke booths.
Oh, they do? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
I feel like that'd be fun to do.
It's so cool.
Although I feel like I'd have to find out how many songs I actually know.
Oh.
By going to karaoke.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, very much fun. Screenless shout out is bowling and saying hoocha.
Hoocha. Okay.
All right. Well, that wraps it up very nicely with a little bow. This podcast is about a third of the length of the movie that we watched.
Yeah. So maybe you should have watched the movie instead, because you'd be a third the way into it by now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Lauren. Well, what did you pick for us next week?
Next week, we are watching Snow White and the Huntsman. Mostly because it has Kristen Stewart in it.
Oh, boy.
And I remember seeing ads for it when it came out when I was like...
pretty young.
I want to say 10 or 12.
Yeah?
And it was after Twilight.
It was her first
It was like her first movie after Twilight.
Yeah. Wait, after just the first Twilight or after the whole series?
I feel like it was somewhere in the middle.
In the middle? Okay.
Yeah. So looking forward to that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I really only picked it because I always wanted to watch it because Kristen Stewart's in it. But
I hope it's shorter than The Godfather.
I think it's like your standard hour and a half.
Good.
Just long enough to hold your attention.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been a fun month so far.
Yeah.
What's the last
some good picks.
pick?
Velocipaster.
Oh, yeah.
Because you said like 3 times we're going to watch it.
All right, well, we have some other stuff planned for this month, too.
Yes.
We'll be announcing it in a Good Screen Direct on our YouTube channel within the next week or so, probably.
Yeah, you better start working on that.
We really got to start working on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And we hope to see you around, or listening, I guess. Mm-hmm. And we hope to see you around next time.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Bye.
I like just saying bye, like looking at you and going, all right, bye, Lauren.
Bye, Russell.
Bye. We're still sitting here.
We're still bye.